What's up, basement fans? It's Danny standing out here, the brand new location of JHU Comic Books, formerly known as Jim Hanley's Universe. This all new location, it's still here in the heart of Manhattan. We're gonna go inside, check out the new look, talk to a couple of customers, and we even got a word from one of the employees. Let's go inside. Hey everyone, I'm here with Steven, one of the employees here at the brand new JHU Comic Books. How you doing, Steven?
Very good, sir. How you doing?
Well, I just want to get a little insight on the new store. How's things now that you moved?
They're very good. You know, I gotta say, we were working very hard on making sure that we could, get here on May 1st. It was when we had our first official day in the new location, and it was a heck of an undertaking. I'll say that much. But we, got everything in that we wanted to get. We got the layout right. We had our guys out on the street handing out flyers, making sure everybody knew where the new location was. And once we got in and we had that first week of business with Free Comic Book Day, we really got to see the benefit of having all that, that press going out there, and we got our main guys back, and it was we've been rolling ever since.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, you yourself, I'm assuming, is a comic book fan.
Absolutely.
Now, what are you reading at the moment?
Well, let's see. I'm enjoying the Justice League stuff. I was actually that's one of the New 52 books that I've really stuck with and really enjoyed. I've been a fan of Jeff Johns ever since he restarted Green Lantern like pre-New 52, and he had me from there. So I'm a big fan of that one. I'm a Marvel boy by heart, so I have to say I've really been enjoying the X-Men stuff that they've been doing. I feel like Bendis has really got a lot of like good steam back, doing the X-Men books all new and uncanny. And then I try to just check out like a lot of there are a lot of creators that I try to follow and just follow them and be up on their stuff. Like Brian Wood, I've been a fan of since DMZ, of checking out his X-Men book. That's really strong with the all-female cast. Ed Brubaker, Fatale is one of the best monthly books on the block right now. And I feel like that's one that really could use that eye on it. You know what I mean? Because he and Sean Phillips have been working together for a while, and this is their best stuff.
I'm a huge Brubaker fan. I follow him anywhere he goes. Now, you're saying that you're a Marvel boy at heart. What are your opinions on the Marvel Now?
I think that the Marvel Now was a very interesting, initiative in the wake of, New 52. Because the New 52 definitely wanted to, start over from scratch, scrap a lot of continuity so that you could get as many fresh readers as possible. Marvel wanted to do something similar with Marvel Now, so they got a lot of fresh creators, and they started a lot of new number ones, but they kept the continuity. So, they sort of were on the flip side of the DC coin. So I feel like that managed to get new readers in, but at the same time not alienate anybody, because everything that you read, still pretty much counts. We'll have to see exactly where the chips have fallen in the wake of Age of Ultron, but because that messed with the timeline a bit. But I think that they managed to hold on to a lot of their base and not really, put anybody off or too many people off by keeping continuity. So I think that was a pretty good choice of theirs.
All right, that's good. Now, what you think is the biggest sellers here in comparison between the Marvel and the DC?
Batman and Justice League, both, whenever they come out, they always do really good numbers. All New X-Men does really good. Superior Spider-Man, if for nothing else, then, it's the flagship character of Marvel, and also, given, the twist that they, have, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but, that they've had since the inception of the book has really kept people coming back, because it's a very polarizing book, giving the nature of the main character and the circumstances of him, but at the same time, no matter how they feel about the Superior Spider-Man, they need to see where it goes, and I think that's really a great hallmark of monthly comics, that you gotta keep coming back.
That is true. That's the show of a good writer. He puts in a way that makes you want to get the next issue, make you want to turn the next page. And you mentioned Dan Slott, and you also mentioned earlier before we were on air about signing an appearance here.
He's actually going to be here at JHU Comic Books in Manhattan on 32nd Street on July 24th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. signing copies of the new issue. I think that'll be number 14 of Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, man, I wish you all the luck and to keep it going. I've been a long-time customer to the store, and I'm going to remain a long-time customer.
Very much appreciate
so,
that, man.
Thanks a lot, man. We're here just trying to see what fans are getting nowadays in the comic book shop. So, what are you doing here today in the comics?
Well, passing through, looking at the latest issues, some Marvel, DC, and other companies.
All right, now, are you familiar now with the new DC 52?
Yes, I am.
And then what about the Marvel now?
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that too. I think they're both great. They're both doing fine.
If you had to pick one right now, like what you think is handling it better with the whole alternating of the universes and stuff.
Which one is handling it better now? That's a tough one, I gotta say. I'm not really picky, but I think all of them have great stories, and they're all terrific. And the artwork's pretty good too.
I kind of go all over the place. Superhero stuff, indie stuff, mini comics.
So the Marvel, the DC, the Dark Horses, all the indies,
Mostly
IDW,
Marvel, actually.
mostly
Not
Marvel.
too
So
much
you're
DC.
more
It
Marvel
goes
fan.
every once in a while, DC stuff, but
All right. So every once in a while, when you go into the DC Nation, what do you pick up?
it's a tough one. I was reading Hellraiser for a while, but they got Hellblazer, not Hellraiser, Hellblazer for a while, and then they just stopped it. You know, things like that. I kind of like. Swamp Thing was okay. Then they had a big mini series that just made it go right down the shitter. And
I go for some of the junky stuff still. The Lucky Luke, which I like, is actually written in France, but it's all about Western stuff. So it's a French perspective on Western stuff. I've always liked the Hermes, what do you call it, Hervé, Tintin. The Tintin novels, they've had that. I've been collecting some of these Superman novels.
Let's see, I've read The Fearless Defenders. Right now I'm reading Astonishing X-Men, and I've also read Flash, and I think I've read FF, among other titles.
All right, well, it seems like you're reading more Marvel than DC. So can I safely say that you're you're a Marvel head or a DC
I
Nation?
like both. I'm not picky. One thing about me, if it's a good story and if it's a good issue, I read it.
Not for Marvel. You're a big Marvel fan now. What are you picking up at Marvel?
well, right now I'm getting the Hawkeye trade, which is one of those books that everybody was saying, "Oh, it's so good," and I didn't read it for a while. Then I picked up the first trade, and it actually is pretty good.
That's weird to hear of a Hawkeye book. Really
Yeah,
good.
well, that's the main thing. You're like, Hawkeye. Who wants to read a Hawkeye book? You know, I think what they do is, at least in the first trade, I don't know what happens later on yet, but there's hardly any superheroing going on in it. It's like him. There's some like crime stuff and things like that, and
It's like Hawkeye Begins.
yeah,
Hawkeye Rises.
something in that vein, or it could just be like a spy book or a detective book, but it just happens to be Hawkeye who's in the Avengers.
There's another guy, Eddie something down here, that does Femme Fatale and some other
Ed Brubaker.
Baker, yeah, and some of those. And I find that series interesting. But it's, again, I like the idea that you can tell the story with pictures and words and stuff, and you don't use you don't need the text of a novel. I read novels as well. That's interesting, but this kind of supplements the reading.
Love and Rocket is probably the best comic book there is consistently for all these years. It's been good.
Well, now as a Marvel fan, yeah, we're right here at the comic book shop. That happens. Now, as a Marvel fan, now with the Marvel Now initiative that's going on right now, what are your opinions on that?
Well, I go in waves. Sometimes I'll get a bunch of books and I'll read them for a while. Then I'm like, this is kind of crap. What am I buying this for? Like stuff like Fantastic Four. Every once in a while I want to read Fantastic Four, but I buy it.
I want to read Fantastic Four too, but it's just Fantastic Four and the Hulk. I want to read those comics.
Not bad. Have you been reading Hulk?
No, I haven't read Hulk in a while,
Hulk's
man.
actually good. That's one of the surprise ones. It's been good for the last, I don't know, maybe it's like 7 issues, something like that. I don't know how many issues have come out.
Surprising. I stopped on the Hulk with the Gamma Animals like a couple of years back.
Yeah,
I was like, nah, I'm not doing this no more.
Fantastic Four, every once in a while I'll pick up, I'll read it, and then I'm like, this is terrible, I'm not reading it anymore. Same thing, Avengers, that Age of Ultron. The first issue or two was okay, and then all of a sudden you read it and you're like, what is this crap? They get rid of the good artist who was on the first couple of books, and then, it's the same thing. It seems like they just try to get you in, and then, Marvel hates us. They hate all of us. They just want our money. That's really...
You're hearing it here first. Marvel, pay attention. This is your people. This is your people saying this. All right, what would you recommend to the fans out there right now?
Recommend to them? Yeah. I would recommend to just whatever comic book you like, whatever title it is, and whatever company it is, enjoy it, read it while you can.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
right, Basement fans, we're still here questioning people, seeing what they're buying and what they're reading at the comic book stores. You currently, what are you reading and buying?
Oh, wow. I'm reading a lot of stuff. I was just in here last night, but I came specifically in to get my favorite, Batman.
My favorite too.
And Breath of Bones, I started that by Steve Niles, Dave Wachter. I'm really enjoying that. You caught me as I was working my way down, but I'm going to hit Hawkeye and a bunch of other stuff. There's a whole list of stuff that's coming out today that I'm really excited about.
So you're across the boards. Dark Horse, DC, Hawkeye with Marvel. What would you say are the titles that you pick up the most from?
Oh, wow. You know, I have to be honest. I like to pick up people that I already know, that I'm friends with. You know, anything by Francesco Francavilla. Like, I love his artwork. I'll pick that up. A lot of writers and indie writers, pretty much.
Well, you mentioned your friends, so you have friends in the comic book industry as well.
Yeah. Well, I write and publish comics. I have my own little book here that I do.
And there we go. She says she has it on Kickstarter right now. What's the name of the book?
It's actually funded by Kickstarter. This is a shameless plug, but so I'm going around to some of the stores to see if they need restocking. It's Girls' Night Out, and have some of my friends in here. It's a little anthology of, I guess we call it female-friendly comics, you know. So
Now we have 2 issues of Girls Night Out in a VIP room. Can you give us a little back history and story on these?
sure. You know, this was my very first anthology. I'm a sort of a product of a comics experience. I learned to write under Andy Schmidt, and with a bunch of my friends' help, I put out this anthology here, and it's kind of got a few short stories of, you know, dark fantasy, gaming, horror, you know, just kind of experimenting. But it got such good, I guess, reviews that I came out with the second one. So it's a continuation of some of the other stories. And then this was my first one-shot. The VIP room is kind of a Twilight Zone-y kind of 3 people trapped in a room thing. And, you know, people are liking that so far. So I'm pretty psyched.
All right, now where can we find or purchase these books?
You can go online to amychu.com. Of course, you buy it direct from me. That's awesome. But also, different stores are stocking it. Fat Jack's in Philadelphia. Hopefully, Jim Hanley, Carmine Street Comics has it. A bunch of other stores in New York. All over the place. Chicago Comics and Speeding Bullet. You make me go through the whole list. but I'm happy to do a shout out for local comic book stores because they've been super supportive. Comic book shop in Delaware in particular had me do a signing recently, and hopefully I'm doing a signing in Toronto sometime. So you know.
All right, that's good. So I'll just plug your website one more time.
It's amychu.com. Fortunately, I have a very short name, amychu.com.
All right, thank you.
Real comics, real opinions, real New Yorkers. New episodes every Tuesday at www.petesbasement.com.
Oh shit. Comics get good, then they get bad, then they get good, you know. We're junkies, so you gotta come and get our comics. What are you gonna do?